Right, Shalom, Israel. When it start off as always by giving all praise to Yahweh Hashem Shai, double honors to the apostles of GMS, and honesty, brothers that are doing the work in truth, war, sincerity. I came across this picture. I've come across several pictures that I might just make a series of them, striking pictures. But this one, in this case, it just epitomizes how Esau has spun things upside down. Here it is, the bum in this picture. This guy down here is actually the richest. He actually has the most wealth. Whereas in Esau's society, apparently having more debt means you're better off. Take the case of the United States of America. They have the world's largest debt. They cannot recover from their debt. Yet they'll contrast themselves to the Russia, for instance. I remember it was on Max Kaiser, I believe, or one of them economic shows, which is basically talking about how Russia has a GDP to has a debt to GDP ratio of 11%, contrasted with the US, who has a debt to GDP ratio of 100%, right? And yet people go on and say that America is a stronger economy. And that's, like I said, once again, epitomizing this picture here. You got all of these suave looking people, and they actually have less money than this homeless guy here. And it's a spirit I came across this because I was actually dwelling on it. You have these rich Edomites next door to you, or whatever, what have you, but actually they've got mortgages. So despite the fact they look down on you, you got more money than them. £1 million mortgage, that means they're in £1 million of the debt. Whereas you might only have £10. So you're plus £10 and they're minus a million. This is Isaiah 29 and 16. So I'm just gonna go through a few scriptures that came to my head when I saw this picture. So this is Isaiah 29 and 16. It says, "Surely a turning of things upside down shall be esteemed as the potter's clay. For shall the work say of him that..." Well, that's the point. You're turning of things upside down, man. Right? Because, like I said, the richest person in this picture is actually the carnally richest, should I say, the carnally richest person in this picture is who everyone would call a bum. Right, and in fact that's actually quite spiritual, as I'm saying this, because when you take a look at all of these other camps, the one that everyone likes, all of the other ones, IUIC, they're spiritually poor, they're spiritually in debt. Whereas the bum camp, GMS, starting from the apostles on down through the power of Yahweh Hashem Shai, we're spiritually rich. This is Proverbs 11 and 1. It says, "A false balance is abomination to Yahweh, but a just weight is his delight." And once again, that's playing into the point, because the current financial system is completely messed up. It shouldn't work, and it's not real riches. These FRNs are not backed by anything. It's the petrodollar. Right, and this is Proverbs 11 and 4. It says, "Riches profit not in the day of wrath, but righteousness delivereth from death." Right? Because ultimately, this 53 million this geezer doesn't have, at the end of the day, and the $7 this geezer has, because the scriptures also said, damn, let me pull that up. It's in Micah, I believe. Silver and gold is cankered. Salaki, I'll just find what that word. Nehu, in his name? I can't find it, but yeah. So I'm just gonna go to the next, which is Matthew 6 and 19. It says, "Lay not up for yourselves treasures upon earth, where moth and rust doth corrupt, and where thieves break through and steal. But lay up for yourselves treasures in heaven, where neither moth nor rust doth corrupt, and where thieves did not break through nor steal. Because once again, man, it ain't a thing about getting all the worldly riches. The scriptures say that this world shall pass away. Hey, we're hoping that this kingdom gets destroyed in the next couple of, hopefully the next couple of days, but realistically, maybe in next month or two. Really and truly, yesterday, man. I honestly didn't think that we'd get as far as 2016. But once again, we just have to endure until Yahweh Shem Shah decides to come, because the scriptures say, no man knoweth the hour or the time, but watch and pray. So we can tell that this thing, by way of watching, is real close. So there's no point chasing this paper money, this FRNs. Because Matthew 16 and 26, for what is a man profited if he shall gain the whole world and lose his own soul? Or what shall a man give in exchange for his soul? Right? Plain and to the point, this geezer has been bent over 1,000,000 times, man. Weird sex magic, and that's why whenever you see these musicians, when they first start out, they be releasing some decent songs. They've got a decent countenance to them, but as they keep making more money and making new hits, you can see their countenance changes. Because ultimately their spirit's getting ripped because they know what wicked shit they've had to do. Right, let me just find Abraham. No. It's like I'm just looking up real riches. Khan, yeah, it says Genesis 13 and 2 says, and Abram was very rich in cattle, in silver, and in gold. Why does being rich in cattle mean anything? Because those cattle need somewhere, they need pastures, they need land. So you have to have a lot of land if you've got a lot of cattle. And silver and gold is real riches. Because the value of silver and gold doesn't go up and down. Right, and another scripture also that came off of this picture here is Deuteronomy the 15th chapter. It's talking about the year of release, because another reason why Esau's monetary system is so fucked up is because he doesn't practice the year of release. After seven, at the end of every 7 years, you're supposed to cancel debts. That's why the US is in more debt than there are dollars. The system was designed to fail from the very beginning. Right, that's what capitalism. More of Esau's unrighteous decrees, Isaiah 10 and 1. It says at the end of every it's Deuteronomy 15 and 1. It says at the end of every 7 years thou shalt make a release. And this is the manner of the release. Every creditor that lendeth aught to his neighbor shall release it. He shall not exact it of his neighbor or of his brother, because it is called the Lord's release. It is called Yahweh's release. Of a foreigner thou mayest exact it again, right? And so this is showing you the distinction between a fellow Israelite and a foreigner. Let's look at what this word is, nakarai, foreign alien, right? It says, save when there shall be no poor among you, for Yahweh shall greatly bless thee in the land which Yahweh thy power giveth thee for an inheritance to possess it. Only if thou carefully hearken unto the voice of Yahweh thy power, to observe to do all these commandments shall command thee this day. For Yahweh thy power blesseth thee, and this is one of the good things now, right? This is what's going to be when we're finally in the kingdom, right? It says, as he promised, he says, and thou shalt lend unto many nations, but thou shalt not borrow. Right now, we're under the curses, and one of those curses is we shall go unto our enemy in want of all things. Right now, we're doing all the borrowing. Esau doesn't lend from Jake. Esau doesn't borrow from Jake. Jake is just happy to survive, man. Jake be living paycheck to paycheck. These Edomites aren't in trouble as other men, as the scriptures say. And you can see, Now let me not digress. It says, and thou shalt lend unto many nations, but thou shalt not borrow, and thou shalt reign over many nations, but they shall not reign over thee. Right, and that's one of the brilliant things that we have to look for in the kingdom, not having to be in subjection to any heathens, man. So with that, hopefully you've seen some edify. I have hopefully been edified. Like I said, I was just some of the scriptures that popped up into my head when I was looking at this image here. Just to finish the point, in this world, the spiritually, the carnally so-called rich are the ones that just have lots of debt. They ain't really worth anything. And I made the liken that also into this truth of ours, because in the world of Israel, the men of GMS were seen as the bombs, were seen as the lowly, the piece of shit. When really and truly, through the power of Yahweh Hashem Yahushua, were the spiritually rich, were richer than all of these other guys. Alright? So now I'm just going to say Shalom.